Track and field is where we begin on this Tuesday. Kingston College are still basking in their record-extending 34th Issa Grace Kennedy Boys Champs title. The purpose of North Street retained the Mortimer Geddes Trophy at the National Stadium in Kingston last Saturday, having tallied 366 points to easily defeat Jamaica College, who scored 299 points. Calabar finished third on 207 points, with St. Jago ending fourth, 118.5, and the St. Elizabeth Technical rounding out the top five with 116 points. Edwin Allen, yes, on the boys' side, Wolmer's Excelsior, Magotty, big performance from the St. Elizabeth-based team, and Cornwall College rounded out the top 10. Yeah, we're pleased to be joined by Leighford Grant. He is the head coach of Kingston College. And yes, he is a proud and extremely elated man today after another wonderful victory at Champs. Coach Leighford Grant, how are you doing?
As you said, I'm elated, I'm happy, and I'm doing fine.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Sum up this one for us. Win number 34 for Kingston College.
Well, this particular one was challenging at the beginning of the year. We had some challenges in terms of injuries and little financial challenges here and there, but we managed to persevere, and I know we're champions, so we're really happy for this one. I keep the question is being asked all the time about the 2019 champs compared to this one. I really don't want to compare both, because the first one is always the best one for me.
Yeah, fantastic. You spoke about the injuries this year. There were concerns, as you pointed out, at Gibson Relays. You rested a number of your top athletes.
Right.
Even at corporate, we saw a few athletes who you would have expected to see compete, did not compete. Carifta Trials the same. How difficult was it to manage your athletes throughout the course of this season?
Well, it's not really difficult for me. I'm a manager by profession. And if one of the most important things going in these championships, you have to try and ensure that your athletes are as fit as possible to compete. So at Gibson Relays, we got a little knockings for that one. We had to withdraw some athletes from some events because I was trying to manage the process on a daily basis in regards to getting the boys healthy to champ. So it was not a very difficult decision, but for the wider public it might seem as if there was some unscrupulous plot. No, but that's to manage the athletes each process of the way to championship.
Coach, post-championship, you have said that you were always confident that it wouldn't be as close as a lot of the experts had projected. Even though you're suggesting ahead of the championship you had some difficulties, including financial, which
right.
I would want you to comment on briefly in a moment. But what was it days before the championship that gave you the confidence that it would be comfortable for KC?
Well, I work closely with a statistician named Hugh Powell. He's a genius in my estimation.
Yes.
When other pundits would predict champs and say it was close, is a gentleman. He's so knowledgeable in regards to track and field. He will examine each track meet. He will look at the time the youngsters run. He will look at head-to-head in regards to the youngsters' performance, head-to-head. He will look at even the win factor in terms of who ran what at what different times and the conditions surrounding a particular race and all of that. And when he puts his pen down to paper and he works out the thing, and both of us will sit down and work it out, we're saying, well, we can say that boy will not be that boy under the same conditions and all of that. And we come and sit and we work it out, and I realize that, well, if we have a particular team and each boy in a particular race at that time, then we expect that boy to beat him in the same conditions. So it all comes down to our statistician, Mr. Hugh Powell. He's a genius. I think Jamaica should employ him.
Yes.
He knows his track and field. I think probably this man knows him. He's very quiet and humble, but I work closely with him.
Yeah, Hugh Powell is a top man, no doubt about it, but he has an advantage. because he sits with you and gets all the inside scoop on what's happening
Right.
at Kingston College. So when everybody else is wondering the state of the injuries in the Kingston College camp, he doesn't have to wonder because you give him that information clearly. So he's at an advantage.
Yeah, he does. But at the end of the day, he will have to know our position, right? Yeah. And he's somebody who knows almost every single boy that runs from primary school, prep school, basic school, comes straight up. He's very knowledgeable, and he assists me a lot.
Yeah, very impressive. The financial aspect of preparation for champs, because we know that it is a costly exercise to prepare any team to win a championship in high school sports. But we know that Kingston College has such a robust past students association, a lot of them very cashy. How did you manage hitting a financial hitch?
It's a perception, really.
It's a perception.
Put this way, the COVID, I don't know what happened, but probably COVID and the transition from COVID, I think it might affect a lot of old boys in terms of their businesses and all of those expectations. So on the outside, people perceive that KC don't have monetary problems, but I can tell you, like any other high school, we have problems. And I have always used this opportunity to ask the old boys to come on board, come and support us, because we can't get enough support in terms of championship. It gets expensive every year, more and more expensive.
To the viewers who may not be fully aware of the cost involved, give us an idea of what are the budgetary allocations and the kind of financial input that is required to prepare these teams, because I don't think the average person watching the show understands the figures that we are talking about here.
You're setting me up in a lie.
I know, but I think it's worthy.
It is millions of dollars. Millions of dollars to prepare a champs team.
Wow.
Just by that, we have over 100 boys in training.
Yes.
We have to feed those boys on a daily basis. So,
breakfast, lunch, dinner? Or one solid meal?
One solid meal.
Yes.
One solid meal. We try to have each boy eat a solid meal. Yes. Training is hard. Yeah. So we try to subsidize.
And this is outside of competition. You're not talking about the periods when you have like Christmas camps and so on. When you're
normally our feeding program chips in somewhere around November.
November,
right?
Oh, and that's pretty much the entire school year.
Back, right?
Yeah.
So if you imagine that, it's quite costly for us to deal with that, and the budget is,
physiotherapy and medical treatment as well.
Medical treatment. The beauty about it, that is where the old boys come in now. We have a lot of doctors and physiotherapists and all of that. And they do assist in that area by presenting.
I would expect so, yes.
Right.
Give us a figure though, Coach. 30, 40, 50 million?
I won't say. I won't say.
So we have to be satisfied with millions. Millions.
Yes, next year I said something and it,
2019.
Yes.
Is when you got this Kingston College head coaching job. Well, for the 2019 season, but it would have been 2018.
Yes.
You've won 3 titles in 4 tries since that time.
Yes.
When you look back at it, are you disappointed you didn't get this head coaching job before then?
I'm a true KC man. Nothing happened until the time it happened. So I got it 2018 and 2019 champs. I worked along with all the coaches, and we have been here for quite some time, and I did my part. Now I got the part of being head coach and to plan and manage a team, and I have been doing so, I would say, successfully for the last 4 or 5 years. So I am doing my part now. When I leave out of this chair, I know that somebody else will come and fill the shoes and also do a good job. But for now, I'm focusing on trying to help us win champs up to the 100th year.
2025?
Yeah, and then after that, I'll make a decision whether I'll leave or stay.
I hear that's the year Calabar has identified as their comeback year, 2025. But I want to know more about you, Coach.
I think he's ridiculing you, Ricardo. But go ahead.
No, man, definitely not. Ricardo, we see each other in the stadium.
Okay.
We're fine.
Tell me about you, because I remember when you took over as head coach.
Yes.
for the 2019 season, a lot of individuals said, who is that? Can this man lead KC to the promised land? And you've now done it 3 out of 4 tries. Give me the history of Leighford Grant in this coaching business.
A lot of people would know that I work with probably all the youngsters that are now excelling at the Class 1 level. Nkume, Adrian, Mattison, Dontre Williams, you remember that one?
Yes.
And so, I've been there quite some time. I prefer work at the lower level, the Class 3, Class 4, Class 2, because that is where I believe coaching is more important, to teach them the correct things or to do at that level. Yeah. And that is why I was not this person that was upfront and because normally the Class 1 boys are the boys who the coaches will look at and say, this particular coach is working with a particular boy. For instance, this year, Andre Wellington is working with Nkume Boaji, and he's the star of the show this year. But I am humbly in the background working with a lot of boys at the early age. I see fit where the school might have now seen me as somebody who manages well, because if you realize over the years, KC have been producing a lot of Class 3 boys, excellent Class 3 athletes over the years, scoring sometimes over 100 points, between 98 to 100 points. I'm the one that is doing this under the background. Yeah. So they might have said, well, if he's doing such a good job at this level, let us promote him, and then the rest is history. It's now speaking for itself.
I'm going to put you in the hot seat again. Why has it been so difficult for non-Kingston College
coaches,
yes, to succeed? Non-past students of Kingston College to succeed as KC coach?
That one I can't answer for somebody who is I'm a KC man. I can't.
But you've been there.
Yes,
you've seen the struggles.
Does your question extend beyond track and field, Ricardo?
on the outside, it might seem as if probably KC people is giving these coaches a warm time. I don't know if that's where you're getting at, but honestly, when I was coaching, this was a regular coach at KC, I respect all coaches, whether it's a KC old boy or it's a non-KC old boy. I will give off my best. I don't know. If a non-KC old boy come as a coach, then we allow him to make the necessary decisions as a head coach. And the decisions that he makes at that time sometimes probably not be the right ones. I don't know, but we all work together with him. And for instance, I said I'm very humble. If a coach comes in and asks me to do a particular job, I'll do that job. So I don't know why they are not getting the sort of success as the KC.
Is the KC fraternity more united than it has ever been, or been in a long, long time, since you have been there at least?
I've got the support from the KC old boys. I have no problem at all with any issue. The support is tremendous. And outside coaches have gotten a similar support. So I don't know. Maybe it's just some of the decisions that they make.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was in high school in the 70s, Coach, Kingston College had a 14-year unbeaten run at champs, which ended in 1976 with Calabar. And a lot of people who watch the SportsMax Zone, many of them, of course, non-Jamaicans, they are aware of Kingston College's prowess in high school sports in the country. There is a culture and spirit in Kingston College that is designed for success. Can you talk to us about that? Some Kingston College students tell me that when they get there in first form, they are, to use, for want of a better term, indoctrinated into a KC culture. Can you speak on that?
What I can speak of is that we are given a book.
A book?
A book.
Yes.
Which is written by Anthony Johnson, the late Anthony Johnson, about the history of Kingston College.
Yes.
And we are supposed to read that book, and we would have learned the history
of the school,
and the greatness and the achievements of the school. And you want to be a part of that, those achievements. I once heard someone say that Jamaica is lucky to have a school like Kingston College, knowing that we are probably a school that was built for underprivileged youngsters who were bright and couldn't afford to go to the other traditional.
Needed the opportunities.
Right.
Yes.
Needed the opportunities. And, you know, when you hear things like those going in as a student, you want to do your best when you actually go on the field of competition. So it's become a culture for us. And while I was going to KC at the time, I realized that our KC brothers were really brothers. If you're in a difficulty and you call on somebody, they will be there to help.
Yes.
No matter what time of night, you know. You call somebody, they will come and get if your car break down on the road, anything. And it's become a brotherhood. And that is what I love about KC the most.
Yeah. Two very important ones. One, probably the most talked about incident, and I use the word incident for a reason at Champs. Kamani Gordon, the Calabar athlete, running into the lane of Nicardo Clark, the Kingston College athlete, impeding him, and then what would have followed after. Kamani Gordon disqualified from the event, rightly so. Nicardo Clark initially disqualified and then reinstated. Your thoughts on everything that happened as it relates to that incident?
In a couple of other interviews, I said that I didn't want to regurgitate this whole incident, and for a couple of reasons. One, Jamaicans tend to get a lot of emotions between the KC Calabar incident. I really don't want to go back down the road where you're coming from, where KC boys walking down the road or Calabar boys walking down the road and somebody attack each other because the emotions that surrounding these events on national TV. And when we constantly talk about it, we rehash this sort of emotions and all of that. But in terms of the incident itself, it was quite unfortunate. I thought what Nicardo did was wrong. Yeah. He shouldn't have reacted the way he did at the ending of the race. Yeah. But it always come back down to his emotions at the time and what he was feeling as a 16-year-old. I'm not taking up for him, but the point is, when you train for 8 months and you think you're in a medal position, and you believe at the time that this was deliberate. Yeah. At that time, he must have felt that this was deliberate. It's a natural reaction. But Corey and I, we had a quick little impromptu talk at the ISA's office, and we I want to do something with him. Yeah. To show that it's love, you know. We love our Calabar brothers. We're coming far away. We're not going back to where we're coming from. And if we can do something to show unity among schools, I think we ought to do it. And we ought to move on, you know. I said, because of the situation, I don't want to keep on regurgitating it, and then, you know, emotions start, and then we have the things going back to the past.
Yeah. Have you been able to speak with Nicardo? How is he, first of all, and what have you said to him?
For the entire night, that particular night, he cried all night uncontrollably, the entire night. He was so emotionally distraught. Not only was, because I said, I think is that he has been training for 8 months. He got so many injuries. So many injuries. I felt it for him. And he thought he was in a medal position, and he thought he was robbed of that position. But we are not in no way condoning what he did at the ending of the race. Yeah. It's just because as 16, 17-year-old, he got all emotional.
Were you given an explanation as to why he was reinstated?
No, that is for the technical people. You know, Ricardo, the technical people, KC people in the stands would have made an appeal, and the governing bodies, the people who are dealing with it, would have read that appeal and come up with a situation that they felt that. One of the things I heard was the youngsters being whatever twice. For instance, he was, what do you call it again?
You mean on the part of Nicardo, that he shoved Kamani twice?
Right, something like that. And then what happened is that they felt that the punishment was too harsh at the time, because I think one of the things is that they kicked him out of the championship. They took away
the points.
But remember, prior to that, he had already run a relay.
Yeah, the heats of the relay.
Before. So he was actually still in championship before ruling came. So it was a more of a technicality that he got.
That he got off on. Yeah. Boanji and Kumi.
Yes.
Saw him confirmed for the Racers Grand Prix earlier today.
Yes.
Do you feel he's ready for the big times?
I think so. And Kumi, working with him all over the years, he's a very focused child. I think he's going to be one of Jamaica's great. Knock on wood, don't want to talk to, but he's a tremendous youngster. Not only he's talented, but the personality of the youngster is tremendous. And he's the one that led the KC youngsters this year, and he did a tremendous job at it. That's his personality alone.
Is he well, though? We understand he missed the KC celebrations yesterday morning.
No, man,
at school. He was there?
He was there.
Okay.
He was there. I think I saw him. Yeah, I can't remember. It was so, everybody was so
yes, I
celebrated.
understand. Yes.
But Boaz is fine.
Yeah. All right. We're speaking with the coach of Kingston College, Leighford Grant, after KC secured a record-extending 34th title at Champs. Is that where we finish? Is that where we finish this one? Leighford, thank you so much. You were having so much fun. We didn't realize that the time
I know you're a chocolate piece,
had gone.
Right.
We look forward to the Carifta Games coming up this weekend
for the youngsters.
And we know the KC boys and all the other athletes will do Jamaica proud at the Carifta Games. Thanks very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and congratulations. Brilliantly done. 3 from 4. Doesn't get much better than that.
Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, as I just pointed out, some of Jamaica's high school standouts will be heading to the Carifta Games in the Bahamas this weekend. SportsMax will have live coverage, the 50th edition of the Carifta Games. It starts on Friday with the opening ceremony. Action starts on Saturday morning at around 8 o'clock Jamaica time, 9 in the rest of the Caribbean. Don't miss it. It promises to be cracking. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more on the SportsMax Zone.
Are you ready? Are you ready? We are ready.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.